Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
Something else that happened last week is the broadcasting simultaneously on Facebook Live didn't work last week, but I kept trying and it just wouldn't kick in. So I was trying to make sure that was going to work too. But looks like we're all here. We're up and running. Okay, I didn't get anybody acknowledging or letting me know that they've used or are using Realeflow scoring. They call it AI scoring. So Eric Reisner, if you wouldn't mind, give us a quick description of we were talking about that earlier today, what we think it actually is. I might have my own thoughts, but turns out it may actually be based on people's online behavior. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my understanding, we've got through Lou's system, we use Realeflow and same exact stuff, but AI is turned on. And we have different levels of it. So depending on what people pay for the system, that's essentially how it works. But bottom line, it gives it a score, from 0 to 1,000. And, I've seen stuff as high as 800-900. And that's like people that have all the normal motivations, but then the AI apparently is based on their online searching habits, their purchasing habits, a whole bunch of other data points that go into the system. So they're literally tracking these people.
Okay. All right. So that is what I originally thought it was, guys, in terms of Realeflow was they were scoring people based on, the combination of all the 17 different criteria that we can use to identify someone's personal circumstances related to their property. And I didn't know because I hadn't spoken to the contact at Realeflow yet. But Eric, what you're saying makes a lot more sense. But otherwise, why would it be so valuable? In other words, they're charging us for that. So let me go ahead and split screen or share screen, excuse me. And I'm going to go into Realeflow. Let's just see what we can dig up here. For all the new folks, this is one of the systems you get for being on the team. If you're not on the team, you can get this individually. I definitely recommend wherever you are, whatever brokerage you're with, you have, wrong button there. You have this or something like it. And there's a lot of reasons why, but I don't see the hot link there. So let's do it this way. But one of them is so that you can target your marketing instead of doing broadcast marketing or one-to-many, like an entire neighborhood or an entire zip code. Where historically the old school way was you would send postcards, for example, to an entire demographic, usually geographically based. And I never did like that. It just, to me, it seemed like a huge expense. Very unreliable, very unpredictable. And quite frankly, most people I knew instinctively were just throwing stuff away. So in any case, let's go into lead pipes. So this is a good demonstration for all the newer folks or folks that want to brush up. When we're searching for prospects, once we log into Realeflow, we always start with lead pipes. You click on that and you can see there's property characteristics and ownership characteristics of the properties. People leads are specifically bankruptcy, renters, and probate. Okay. Foreclosure and pre-foreclosure, we actually get that activity in the property leads. Commercial leads is just exactly what it says. In anything that's commercial properties that are commercial. I'm sorry, probate leads is separate. They actually charge you separately, not much, but in addition to what we're already paying, we've paid for the basic account. You've got everything here that we're seeing, except they charge extra property leads because I think that's where I saw the verbiage on AI. Here it is. Grow your business faster with scored leads, unlock more AI zip codes to access intentionally scored leads in new areas today. So I don't know if they give us a real good description of this, but let's just find out. Choose your AI coverage, select a region, and begin unlocking AI zip codes. All right, well, let's just pick. Let's see, where do we have a lot of folks? Let's pick Atlanta. Lots of people in and around Atlanta. Atlanta GA, that is. Okay. So what I'm gathering, let's see, congrats, you're getting lead pipes premium pricing. So we have lead pipes premium, guys. That's what I bought for everyone. But I'm afraid to start hitting too many buttons here because I don't want to start incurring charges that we don't know anything about yet. So I'm wondering if this was $50 per zip code. Check. Let's just see at the cart. Okay. 2 in cart. Let's go check. Yep, they're charging us $50 per zip code. All right. So that to me is kind of expensive. And one way to look at it is, it's kind of expensive. Another way to look at it is this must be really good, right? In other words, the intelligence that we get by having this is, I'm gathering, it's going to be worth it. And here's why I say this. Let's say we're going through the typical search process, right? So let's just go backwards and we will do just that. Okay, we're going to get out of this right here, I think. Here we go. Let's go through a typical search process. So I'll pick Atlanta again. Okay, Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to be looking only for multifamily. We can search, we always search for condos, singles, and townhomes too, but I'm just going to focus in on multifamily since I know there's a lot there in Atlanta. Leave ownership type alone, and lead types. Okay, so we can click board investor, and if you hover on the question mark, it tells you how do we know they're a board investor. It's just an acronym that refers to people that have owned the property 10 years or more, and they don't live there. Okay, so let's see what we get. How many board investors are there that own multifamily in Atlanta? Okay, there's a lot. You might imagine 972 to be exact. Okay, remember these are multifamily 2 to 4 units that have been owned 10 years or more. So that's a good number. Now that doesn't mean that these people are necessarily super motivated, but what's important about 10 years of ownership when it comes to rentals is we know statistically the greatest number of sales occur starting in year 10 of people who own non-owner occupied properties. These are also absentee owners, by the way. So these are absentee owners that, so they don't live there. That's what absentee owner means. They didn't own that more than 10 years. So yeah, they might be somewhat motivated, but we can narrow it down by adding the
Hey, Gary.
criteria of delinquent tax activity, which means they're behind on the property. Yes. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Good.
Good stuff here as always. Hey, while you're on here, it tells you the name. Desmond Williams there. So he owns the first property. Is there a way in here, or is there another resource to find out how much that person, how many properties they have? I know it's kind of
I don't believe you can search by name here. However, some county websites do allow you to search by name. In fact, I just found one today.
Yeah, so I know Desmond Williams here in the first example as an investor. We've already identified him, but now I want to know how many does Desmond have? Because that might be, that might help too.
Yep. Well, what you can do, guys, is this is true in a lot of counties. You can go into the county property tax records. It's usually the assessor's database. So if you haven't done this, please write this down, and we can do a working session tonight and pick a couple of counties to go in there and see how want us to do that. Hang on 1 second, please. So today, I actually went to a county to look up one property, found out I could actually search by name. The county I used to do a lot of heavy investing in used to let us search by name, but they dropped that after a few years of all the owners complaining, because tenants could go in and find out everything that the owners own, which is one of the reasons I started using LLCs so extensively. I didn't want my tenants seeing everything that I had, right? So in any case, sir, what I'm getting at is this ultimately. I just searched for multifamily in Atlanta, Georgia, for people that own the property 10 years or more, right? And of course, they're absentee owners. They've owned it 10 years or more. They don't live there, and they're behind on property taxes. Turns out that's 263. So in my mind, we've essentially increased our odds of success by selecting people that we know already are somewhat likely interested in selling because they've owned it 10 years or more. And more importantly, there might be a sense of urgency because they're behind on property taxes, which is very common with our people that own rentals. A lot of them get behind on property taxes. Remember, if they're getting commercial mortgages don't escrow for property taxes. And a lot of people don't realize that. They're getting their mortgage and then you find out that they don't, property taxes isn't escrowed for, they got to pay it themselves, but they don't bank away enough money throughout the year to pay it. The bill comes in April and they're behind, right? So in any case, here's what I'm getting at. If we were to score this from 1 to 1,000, how will we score owners who've owned the property 10 years or more and are behind on property taxes? So if you could, I just want you to type in your answer in the chat box. What score would you give this lead? Would it be like a low, like 100 because you think those factors matter a lot? And just for fun, I want you to type in your answers in the chat box. And Rob Lee, let me know if you've been able to figure out your sound. You may have to go into your sounds.
I got it.
You got it. Okay, good job. Thanks.
I got it.
So let's see what some of the answers are here. 999, 900. Hey, Carrie, welcome aboard. By the way, guys, there's some new folks tonight. I'll point them out here in a little bit. Yeah, 900. Here's probably Jeff. One way to find out how many properties an investor owns is to download a list and sort it by last name. That's right. You could do that too. You could. So Jeff, you could get the list here, right? Of the back when I didn't put in property delinquent property taxes. What was it, 1,000 something, couple thousand. You could download that and, like Rob said, sort it by ownership name. On your computer. You could do that too. Then you don't have to go to the county website. Thanks, Rob, for pointing that out.
Bet.
Appreciate that. Okay, so we got a couple of the 900. So here's my question. For $50 a month for a zip code, that to me can be pretty pricey, especially if you're in sort of a rural area. If you're in right downtown Atlanta, yeah, I might pay $50 a month for that scoring and only send the letters to those that score 900 or above. Right? Is this making sense, guys? Like if you get the AI score, only send letters to people who score 900 above. If you don't get the AI score, what do we believe is our likelihood of getting a response based on the criteria we already have to choose from? And I would agree. I don't know if it's 900, but I would say it would be up there pretty good. Just based on my knowledge of landlords and my own experience owning a bunch of properties. By the way, if you're in the Atlanta area, just for grins, that total was 263 owners of multifamily properties owned 10 years or more and behind on property taxes. So if I was in Atlanta, I would absolutely download that and I would mark it to that list. I'm pretty sure out of 263, out of 12 mailings for each one, not to mention a phone call, probably after the first, second, or third mailing, I'm going to likely get some listings out of it. And I didn't have to spend $50 a zip code. But at the same time, the only way to know this is if somebody tries it. So I'm gonna see. I thought somebody on the team said they were using it. They might not be on tonight, but I'm going to talk with this guy, Don at Realeflow, and see if he wouldn't give us like a trial, not the whole team, perhaps that he might give us a city or a couple of zip codes. So I might be looking for some volunteers. I'll let you know. I'll follow up with Don and get back to you guys. And but I think that'd be an excellent exercise to use the AI scoring for one area, right? And then use the letter campaign at the same time with the criteria that we have and compare results. That's what I wanted to go through this and show this, and this is the reason why I want to do that. Does anybody have any questions right now? Is anybody completely lost?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the parameters around this, but I'm thankful that I'm on this call. So this is awesome.
Yeah,
It's like great information to have. So I agree with you. If through 263, you've got to be able to get something out of this.
absolutely. Yeah, especially the letter that we use. I know you've seen it, Melanie. It's so short and to the point, and there's nothing in there about the writer of the letter. There's nothing in there about my credentials. There's no letterhead. You handwrite the receiving address on the envelope. I mean, in fact, is Dwayne Lee, you're on tonight? I think I saw you when we were logging in.
Yeah, I'm
Dwayne, if you're
here.
here, go ahead and unmute yourself. So the letter.
All right, Gary.
I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you twice in one day.
Yeah.
So that the conversation we had earlier, that was because of the letter.
Yes. So one of the people that reached out from the letter had an agent. So they ended up calling the agent and having them call me and telling they were interested in selling both of those lots. And that's where I got the lead. And so right now she doesn't have it on the market. They weren't even expecting to sell it, but she's not marketing it right now. They're not quite ready. So if we could put something together before then, that'd be great.
Okay. Now, did you, how many letters, how big is your file or your batch that you're sending out?
Well, it depends. So on the commercial ones, I've got about 25 or 30. On the residential ones, it's larger because I ended up getting some data, but I have to go back through and get the numbers because a lot of the numbers were dead.
Okay.
And so I'm probably in between about 300 and 400.
Okay. On the residential side.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. What's amazing is on the commercial side, obviously you'll send fewer. And this letter that you got a response from, was that the residential?
That was a commercial one.
Commercial, yeah.
I did get a couple this week. I started getting some calls back from the residential ones.
Okay.
It took about 3-4 weeks before I heard from anybody.
Okay. Now, have you skip traced them to start actually outbound calling yourself?
I used a different skip trace, but I'm going to use the one you gave me today.
Okay.
See if I get different ones because about 25% of the numbers were dead.
Okay. Well, I will tell you guys, most skip tracers are using the same exact software. They're called data aggregators. So a couple things to keep in mind. The data aggregators are not using any intelligence to determine how new or how old a phone number or an email is, or even if it's valid or accurate. They're just grabbing whatever they find online through all kinds of data searches. So one of the things you can do to improve your odds is to just eliminate the landlines. So don't even call the landlines, just focus on the cell phones. We learned that lesson a while back. And with the emails, what I recommend there is to not use your, whatever email server you're using for general purposes, to not use it the first time you email a fresh batch of leads where you got the emails from a skip tracer. Use another service like, what's the one, MailChimp. There's a couple others. Use another email server and only keep the ones where you get responses from, right? And then load those to your regular database that you're using for your regular email server. Because if you don't do that, the one of the hard lessons in life when it comes to emailing people is Google is really smart. Google's paying attention to everything. And if they see that too many people are not opening your emails, or too many of your emails are being rejected because they're old bad email addresses, or worse yet, people complain or mark them as spam, you're not even gonna know it. You're gonna keep sending emails thinking everything's fine, but the recipients are not even going to be receiving your emails. Google will block it at a higher level. So there's the recipient's email servers, the server that's closer to the actual consumer. Those servers won't even see it. It's going to be blocked earlier on through Google, and you won't even know it. So it's really, really important to know that you're constantly being scored, and whoever or whatever you're using for your primary email provider is keep that one clean and clear and crisp and pure as the driven snow, and only put people in there that responded to, like I said, using another email server that could potentially get blocked. So
would that happen with KV Core, Gary?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're using KV Core and too many of your emails are being rejected because the emails are no longer valid, or they're not opened, or worse yet, people are saying, hey, this is spam, I didn't ask for this stuff. It'll hurt you. Yeah. Yep. The KV Core has its own server, but remember, before something ever even gets to KV Core, it's going through, believe it or not, another server. It's just a larger, higher level server, and they're blocking stuff. Your emails, none of us, there's some of are not even getting because they're blocked earlier on in the process. So just bear that in mind. And if your email provider gets too much of that stuff going on, they will warn you. They'll tell you, hey, you keep doing this, we're gonna block you. You're gonna be in the doghouse for a bit. So in any case, the other part I want to tell you is, unfortunately, I don't know that any one skip tracer is better than another because of what I know about the software. So really, to me, it just comes down to price. And we like Ansa Khalil. I mean, I understand she's gotten a little bit more expensive, probably because she has so much demand. But still, the ones that you'll find online, they're charging you 15 cents a lead. And Ansa for a while was only charging us 3 or 5 cents a lead, so much less expensive. So I'm sorry for the long dissertation. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on why we take this so seriously. The phone numbers, this is what I would do personally. Using a letter, I would send out one letter, maybe two, maybe three, depending on the criteria I use and the circumstances. And I would skip trace them and call them. I would call these people, the ones that haven't responded to me, right? I would call them. It was after one or two or three letters. They see you calling. If there's caller ID, and your name pops up, they're going to say, hey, that's the guy that's been sending me the letter, right? Curiosity, they can't help it. They're going to most likely, answer it. Or they already have opened a letter, they just haven't done anything about it. And you'll get this response. People will say, thanks for calling. I've been meaning to call you. I've just been busy. You'll have some downers, some people that are just plain old angry at everything. And unfortunately, that's part of, we just have to get used to that. Not a lot of them, but enough to get us some gray hair here. But or let me see if I can mute somebody there. I think I just figured it out. Okay. Any case, any questions so far on this, guys? Let me check the chat box.
Gary, I have a question about just your system, like with if you're thinking about prospecting right now, and how many, like, what would your day look like? How many would you send out per day? And like the system and time involved, just what would you do in today's market, like, to maximize these opportunities?
Well, right now, volume is down. It's down pretty much everywhere. There's very few markets I can say where we're still steady. There was a statistic I saw today, and it was for our team. Even though our team pretty much outproduces everything else, our volume is actually down. In other words, this month versus same month last year, same thing for April.
Yeah.
I think it's down like 40%,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still outproducing. I can always keep track of those numbers. So this is why I'm telling you this. What that means is we got to crank it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I like file sizes this size. I like 263. I generally like anything between 200 to 300 prospects. But what I would do is I would work that file until it's absolutely worked over. It's overfished and you can't get anything more out of it. So the way I would work it is I would get those letters out. And if you're a solo agent, guys, it's just you operating and you're taking care of all the phone calls and the emails and the measuring and tracking, you're just doing everything yourself. I would try to get all of those out in a week's time. So that would be 60 a day, 60 letters a day. Now, remember, this may not sound like it's too bad until I tell you the next thing. For handwriting the recipient's address.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
And crown.
Yep. And I'm telling you, it's going to wear out your hand and your wrist and and I would get a little dish of water. There's a stamper, little device you get. It's like just like regular dinnerware type material. I forget the different names of the different dinnerware. That's how long it's been since I bought dinnerware. But it's a roller in a little dish of water, and you just run your stamp over it, so you don't have to lick the stamp. Put it on yourself.
What is it? I don't know that I know what that is.
It's like a little dish, like a little petri dish. And it has a little wheel, and the wheel is also like ceramic or something. And the dish is water. So as you turn the wheel picks up the water.
That's so cool. Okay.
So you run the stamp over so you can do 2 to 3 at a time, and then stick. Do 2 or 3 more, stick.
Oh.
I use a sponge.
Sponge. There you go. Yep. Old school. So, but in any case, if you can do 60 a day, that's 300 a week. Now, I don't know how long it would take you. It depends on how fast you write.
Right.
But I imagine you're looking at maybe, let's see, how many can you do in a minute? Let's say 1 a minute, 60 seconds. That's pretty good. That means an hour just sending out the letters. Okay. Now you have to give people time. Very rarely people will call you back 2 days later when they get the mail. You will get some phone calls. Okay. But get that out. And then I would send another batch 2 weeks later, another batch of letters. And in the interim, hopefully you get some phone calls. Now, here's what you could do. You could skip trace them, right? And in the interim weeks, call the ones you sent the week before. So on Monday, call the ones you sent the letters to the prior Monday. But on Tuesday, call the ones you sent the letter to the prior Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Yep. And out of 60, you might get 3 to 6 answers. Okay. And I would leave a voicemail. There's 2 schools of thought here, right? One school of thought is do not leave a voicemail. To drive some people crazy. They see that you called them. They know you sent a letter and they just can't help it. They got to figure out who you are. Their other school of thought is leave a voicemail. My preference is to leave a voicemail, and here's why. If you read the rules thoroughly, what it says is that if you're having a meaningful conversation, you've got to disclose this and that and the other thing, okay? But if you're not leaving a voicemail, that's not a conversation. That's one directional. So what I would do is I would say this, hi, I'm Gary Wilson. I'm calling about your property located at 1067 Westmore Drive. I live near the area and I'd like to discuss your property with you. Would you please call me at your earliest convenience? Here's my number. That'll increase your response rate because it didn't, I told you, gave my name and my number and mentioned their property specifically. And I said, I live in the area and I want to discuss your property. So as a landlord, I know in my mind, I'm thinking, crap, what did somebody do with my property?
Yeah.
That's me. Because other people might be thinking, who knows what they're thinking? Maybe the tenant that's living there, 5 different people moved in or something. Who knows? But in any case, that's what I would do. I will tell you that people that do not leave voicemails can be quite successful. But when you have your conversation, now let's say they call you back. If they do call you back, it's a live, 2-way conversation. You absolutely have to disclose. You got to let them. So I say thank you for calling me. I'm sure you're busy just like I am. By the way, I need to tell you, or I should tell you right off the bat, I am a realtor. However, that's not really why I'm calling you. I'm calling you because I'm in the business too, and I work with investors. And we can't find a lot of properties for sale right now, and you just happen to have one. It's the kind of property they're looking for. I'm not suggesting you sell your property if you don't want to, right out of the letter. So it's exactly what the letter says. But if you're just curious, what your property would sell for, you let me know. This is the ball's in your park. There's no obligation. There's no fee. There's nothing to do this. And now here's something else I want to try right now. Let's do a quick hand raise. After last week's meeting, I think it was our Wednesday monthly team call, not the Monday Night Live. Has anybody used the letter with the verbiage in there about making a cash offer? Or is anybody wanting to do that? In the letter, we changed the verbiage to say, I have clients who are want to make a cash offer. Are you interested would you be interested in receiving a cash offer? If you could type in a chat box, just let me know if that's something you're entertaining doing. I know several people said they were going to do that. I'd be very interested to see what the results are. I know it's kind of fast because that was just Wednesday. Let's see. Kay, I would like to have that. Carrie said, yeah. Do you use a drip campaign program or something similar to track everything? Stephanie, yeah. Hey guys, by the way, welcome aboard to Stephanie too. Carrie's on tonight and Stephanie's on tonight. Stephanie's going to be joining later on. So any case, we do have nurturing campaigns, Stephanie, for every one of our efforts. There's different ones for different purposes. They are automated. We've got them, they're clonable. So we built them, the team built them. They're in our team website. So you obviously can just copy everything there. But more importantly, if you're on KV Core on the team, we've given them token codes. So when you go into KV Core, you don't have to remember this, just jot this down, something to discuss with me in a one-on-one. And we have training on this too. But in any case, the token code is like a key. And you go into KV Core, when it comes to add campaign, you type in that key or paste it in. That'd be better to do that. And it literally copies the entire campaign right there on your own account, your own KV Core account. And then you just select the contact records you want, hit the go button, and it kicks it off. It's pretty freaking awesome. And then back to your prior question, Stephanie, this is, we have 21 or 22 copyright protected marketing campaigns. And the letter campaign uses this data. So we have other ways to get data. We have other things that we do to generate leads. But when we stumbled across Realeflow, it was like, I've got to get this thing. So we bought the whole thing. And it definitely saves us a ton of time because we can get very highly targeted on our marketing. Like that letter, we're not sending it. It's not like sending 5,000 postcards to a couple of zip codes. We're literally highly targeting who's going to receive it. We know about their property. We know about their ownership status, how long they've owned it, how much debt they have. It's an amazing. Here, I'll just click on one of these. Here's 1067 Westmore Drive. All right. So it shows you where it is. Actually looks pretty nice there. Not too bad for, look at that. I've been to Atlanta quite a bit. This must be on the outskirts. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3 units. Okay. Retail value 357, wholesale value 232. We know the owner obviously doesn't live there. They've owned it 10 years or more. We know that by board investor. Now we know they're in pre-foreclosure and they're behind on property taxes. So anybody that's in Atlanta right now, I'd be doing some screenshots. I would definitely reach out to these people.
Hey,
Yes.
Hey,
I would like to add something. So Zudilio also has a marketing campaign for cash buyers.
Okay.
I loaded it up in KW, Lord Jesus. I loaded it up in KV Core today. So I got the key from Fabian. He sent me the key. And so they have, it goes up to 100 touches. So
wow, that's really good.
So I can put the key in there if anybody wants it. I can cut and paste the key, and all they have to do is use, the token code to add to KV Core if they want.
So in other words, we can grab the campaign from Zudilio.
Yeah.
Load it. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to put the key in there?
Yeah, go right ahead. Absolutely. Thanks, Vanetta.
All right.
What do we owe you for that one?
I'm a team player.
There you go. I love it.
hey, Gary, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
For a comment. If you could scroll back to the top on
Yep.
that page you're on. Oh, there you go. It says delinquent tax activity.
Mhm.
So I've used this and looked in my area. I'm in Metro Detroit, and I looked up not delinquent tax activity because you have that check, but there's foreclosures on there, and
Mhm.
a lot of the properties, and I don't know if I've not checked the delinquent tax activity, but like foreclosure info I've looked up, and a lot of times it's tied, at least from what I found, it's not tied, it's tied to the property, not the particular owner. So if that property address has had a foreclosure or an event in there, it's noted. And I've noticed that it does not necessarily tie to the current owner on that property. So they may or may not have the delinquent tax activity that could be tied to that property at one point where it went into foreclosure for that or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
but send a letter anyway, and it'll all get sorted out, right?
Yeah. Now I will tell you this: foreclosure activity is definitely more a function of the owner, but the delinquent tax activity that actually does stay with the property. You know, so
Right.
If it doesn't get paid, unfortunately, whoever the next owner is inherits it. Now, in most cases, it's going to get paid because somebody's going to go through a proper settlement, whether it's title search and so forth. And also the county's going to require, hey, there's a change of title. You gotta honor this and you got to pay it.
Right.
But for every rule, there's an entrepreneur that's figuring out a workaround. So people are selling properties through, selling the beneficial rights to a trust that owns a property. So if a property is owned by a trust, right? Technically ownership didn't change hands, only the beneficiary changed hands, right? Same thing with well, that's generally what we do when we do subject to purchases. We do those inside of a trust. So there's another example of you know workaround. But I would this is definitely one I would follow up on. So you get the owner's actual mailing address, 90 Emily Drive in Lilburn, Georgia, which is definitely different than the subject property, which is 1067 in Westmore. If you scroll down, you get the last time it was sold, property tax amount. Let's just scroll down here. Valuations, I think we already saw that up top. A little bit about the property. And then the deed recording history, right? So, in any case, pretty darn good information. So, sorry, this is lien history followed by deed recordings. Yep, there was a foreclosure back in 2006. Not surprised by that. Look at that, 2 pages of history too. So this is really good stuff. Now, one of the things we have learned, guys, is when you get a file from Realeflow, you always download it anyways, right? Because you're going to keep working with those people to either you make money or you just wear it out. But the records can go back 3 years. So if I was looking specifically for just pre-foreclosure or just delinquent taxes, and it was a small list, like 60 people, I would actually go to the county tax assessor database first, pull up their records and see if they've been paid. Because remember, the data aggregator is just looking for data. It's not using any intelligence. It's not going through all the intuitive work to figure out, is this still current or not? It could have picked up something from 3 years ago that is no longer relevant. You follow what I'm saying, guys? So if you're sending a batch of 300, I wouldn't go through all that because I'm really searching for delinquent taxes and long-term or 10 years of ownership. But if I was looking at foreclosure activity, I would do one more check before I sent mail out, right? I would do one more check on those people just to be safe because it's a sensitive subject, right? People might get upset. They might call you and yell because, hey, I've already cured that. I've got it all taken care of, and I don't like all that negative stuff. So in any case, here's what I would do, guys. We touch on this in our team meeting. So I'm going to go over it here at our Monday Night Live class. On the letter, let's go to the letter. Okay. And I'll show you what we're talking about. Let's see, team. Here we go. Get logged in here. Okay. So we'll always have to log in. This is for the new folks. And then once you're logged in, this is your dashboard. Training programs on the far right. Fast Start programs right there. GIA resources. These are scripts and everything you need there. Websites for researching, doing more research on banks and people and properties. Tools for analysis, books. Marketing is where we're going to land right now. And if we go, these are alphabetical. So we go to L for letter campaign. Okay. And this is the letter itself right here, letter template. Boy, how's that for it? That picture is probably 3 years old now. I'm glad I started getting my hair cut shorter. That was the pandemic years. I think everybody was letting their hair grow or cut it off or do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so here comes the letter. 3, 2, 1. Let's load. There we go. All right, this was a letter that's already filled out. Down below is a template where you use your, Word and Excel to automatically populate the first name field, the address field, the city, and the type of property, an investor name if clicked it yourself. But in any case, so go back up here. This is one that's filled out as an example, right? Again, notice there's no letterhead at all, right? We don't disclose who we are till down here. Well, after they've read.
Ear, nose, throat, allergy, and medical aesthetics in QL.
Sorry, not sure what happened. Okay. So let's figure out where we put this cash offer language. Dear Clay, I'm writing to you about your property located at 17 Elm Lane in Etna. I'm not suggesting you sell your property if you don't want to. However, inventory is tight right now, and I have clients like Mr. Metajasic who want to make a cash offer on a 4-unit building just like yours in your area. So instead of saying who want to buy, we would change that to say who want to make a cash offer, right? That's what I will put there. Remember, you said clients like Mr. Metajasic. And Mr. Metajasic is a real person. You can't make this stuff up. This has to be a real legitimate person from your database. And I recommend you speak to them ahead of time, which you should be doing anyways, and make sure they have an interest or an appetite for picking up some multifamily. Okay. Now, what I want to do is have some of you try this in the next week. Actually, next 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks, try this. Change that right there. Who want to make a cash offer on a 4-unit building just like yours. All right. And let's measure the results. And that'll be, actually, you know what? We're not meeting in 2 weeks because that's going to be Memorial Day. So it'll be the next Monday we have a guest speaker. So the first Monday in June, that'll be 3 weeks, June 5th. Let's go over the results. So can I get a couple volunteers to try the letter by making that one change? I would do it. I mean, the whole thing about Zudilio, the reason it's working is all about the cash offers, right? So remember, cash offers usually do not work right out of the gate because they're too low. People offering cash want good deals. But what it does is it gives you and the owner a reason to talk and say, look, that obviously that's not going to work. Too low, offers are too low. Let's get this out there on our system so all the realtors are promoting it to all their clients, tens of thousands of them, the retail community who's likely to be paying full price or close to it. Would that be a whole lot better than these low cash offers? And that's the conversation you have with the owner after you've already presented a cash offer or two. Remember, when I first saw the Zudilio thing, and I'm not in it, I could have Bonetta share her screen and she could showcase it for us if you want. But when I first learned about it through Tim's on too, he could probably show us. I saw it as basically a marketing campaign. Yeah, you'll likely get some actual transactions out of it directly with the cash offers, but you're going to have better success by communicating with the people that did not get a successful cash offer and encouraging them to let you use your tools and your systems. Okay. Does this make sense, guys? Okay. I'm going to do a stop share here so I can see everybody. Let me check the question box. It looks like there's a lot coming in. Everybody's saying thanks, Bonetta. So Dutch is asking, are express offers eligible to purchase here? Absolutely. Yeah, you can. There are some people that Dutch on the team do use express offers. And I think Bonetta was one of them. But when you compare the cost benefit, do the cost benefit analysis, it turns out what we're doing is with Delio so far is looking like a better bargain. Bonetta, that was you, wasn't it? You were telling us about express offers and you
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I just found express offers a lot more complicated. They want, you had to have a signed agreement. I just found it, a lot more challenging. Zedelia is easy to use, but there's still some kinks they're working out.
Okay.
But it's a lot less headaches.
Okay. Well, the other thing too, Tim, I don't know if you can speak to this. Tim Luke's on too. Tim's the first person to introduce me to this, or actually, I think the guy actually contacted me first, and then Tim saw the value and went full steam ahead with his project using Zudelio. But early on, Zudelio was taking too long for them to get the offers out, like up to 3 days. And Tim had some examples of case studies where by the time he got the offers got to the owners, they had already accepted other offers. And Tim, are you still here? Are you on tonight?
Yeah, I'm on.
So remind me, if you don't mind explaining that to people, was I think a batch of 50 or 60 people you loaded, and then you got so many cash offers that were legitimate. Well, you go ahead and fill us in if you don't mind sharing,
Sure. We put about 60 properties in within about a week, and we got about a 15% return on offers that were at or above the asking price on, we were just using wholesale deals. The system actually works better with motivated sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is what we did. And we got, like I said, about 15 or 20 offers out of the 60. It was right around 15% were valid, really good offers. And, but by the time we got them, it took about 72 hours, and most of them were already sold by the time we even got the offer. Now, I talked to Elliot over at Zudelio, and they say that by Friday this week that we should be able to receive instant offers, because what they had been doing is putting out an algorithm estimate with a range of prices that they thought they could get from their buyers, but they're saying that by the end of the week they should be able to give us instant offers. So also I found with the wholesale deals, the wholesalers, they don't want inspection periods. The iBuyers, they require inspection periods. So there's as far as the wholesale deals go, there's kind of a I don't know what to call it. It's the processes don't really line up too well. But I've talked to some brokers in some wholesale brokerages, and they're very interested in sending us properties for the iBuyers that don't fit their regular mold of what their normal line of business is. So, for instance, they get motivated sellers that really don't care what they're what they're going to get. They just want out for whatever reason, and so they're interested in sending us kind of oddball properties to see what we can do with them and stuff like that. And there's also another workaround that I'm working on is working with private investors who will step in for an interim term and buy the property from the wholesaler, their terms, and then turn around and sell it to the iBuyers. So that gives kind of alleviates the problem of the two different processes that are button heads. So we're looking at doing something like that too. I've talked to a couple of private lenders who seem interested in trying it out.
Okay. Well,
Also,
go ahead.
also, also our system should be up. I'm thinking by next week sometime.
Okay. All right, good. Well, I appreciate you doing all that. And by the way, one of the something else you just mentioned about the wholesale deals, I know one of the challenges, I guess, is with a wholesale deal, there's another piece involved where the wholesaler needs to get paid too, and some of the end user buyers, it just, whatever reason, well, I actually know why, it's a roadblock for them. In other words, I know for me, I've wholesaled going both directions, and we just simply account for that in our pro forma. So we would, if that was the case and it had to be something to be paid, we would adjust our offer accordingly. We didn't
Right.
let it be a roadblock, but I wonder if, Tim, if some of these folks on the buying end are more, they're not investor types, they're regular consumers that are paying cash. So to them, it's a bigger
I
roadblock.
think-
An investor just sees it as, hey, we make it part of the acquisition costs and we adjust accordingly. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what Delio has more of institutional buyers, as far as I can tell, and I lost my train of thought. I think they're iBuyers, and they they need to have an inspection period, and so with most wholesalers, and then the systems just don't line up, right? So like I said, it's more geared towards accommodating motivated sellers, right? Like so it just the process has just worked more smoothly that way with that type of seller.
Well, I know the folks that were loading up expires and FSBOs, from what I understand, they were having some pretty darn good success.
I think it's just a numbers thing. It's like the example that I did with my case study, right? I ran through 100 different motivated sellers, and we came out with 8 deals, right? Most of them were I think 6 of them were with local investors. There was one and two listings. One was a referral listing out of state, and the other one was a listing I did myself in town here.
Okay.
So the percentages look like they're about the same, right?
Mhm.
So you can figure, I think a safe bet, if you're good at what you do, is probably 10% of the deals. If you're getting, individual motivated sellers in the system, and it depends on what list you're running too, right? Like if they're pre-foreclosures, you probably end up with a higher percentage, or distressed properties, tax delinquencies, that kind of thing, right? The more distressed they are, the higher the tendency is to take what they can get and run.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Tim, while you got the microphone, Dutch is on. Dutch Andrews is from Tidewater area, Virginia. We've known each other at least 10 years. It looks like Dutch is joining the team too. Would you mind describing the iBuyers? He was asking, probably for everybody,
Well, an iBuyer is basically a hedge fund, usually some kind of hedge fund or Wall Street entity, right, that are looking to scoop up. Ever since '08, ever since the banking crisis of '08, ever since the so-called mortgage crisis, Wall Street has kind of since then, they're buying up single family homes like there is no other investment.
Yeah.
And it's not letting up. So the worse things get, I think, the more they're going to buy. It seems like they have kind of gotten a little more picky, right? And because because when the market was just crazy, right? They were paying well over market value for anything.
Mhm.
And so that they've cut back on that. They're paying, now they're paying a little less.
Yep. 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 Yeah. They, when that last recession hit, guys, it wasn't just like, there's a lot of hedge funds out there. But I have a friend that has 3 hedge funds, and but he's really good, and he's kind of a big shot. But Wall Street, these are hedge funds that you and I would invest in through like Fidelity. They're massive, major funds, and typically would not be involved in real estate. Well, these guys were. They were buying what's called a tape, which was a block of mortgages, for hundreds of millions of dollars, and then go through with a strategy to resell some of them right away, rent some of them, fix some of them up, and then sell them or rent them. They would foreclose on people. Some people, they would do workouts. It was a big, big part of the industry, right? So they learned a valuable lesson. I mean, real estate, back then they were running from the stock market. And real estate was the only place to run to. But now they realize it's integral part of their strategy, just like it should be for all of us. We should have, a diversified portfolio, not just real estate. But in any case, hey guys, real quick note here. We got a pretty full house tonight. It is 8:00. So we try to promise people 1 hour. I will stay on till 8:30. We can keep talking. I'll answer questions. We can bring up people like Bonetta and Tim and others that can talk more about these programs. But if you've got your fill and you got your hour, and if you log off, I wouldn't be offended. I appreciate you participating. I do want to recognize Lisa Perez and Clarence Belton's pretty new. Stephanie Rolls is brand new. Dutch is brand new to the team, that is. Let's see who else in here. Dutch. Let's see. Stephanie, Carrie. I mentioned Carrie early on. Carrie Fichette from Wisconsin. There's Chalita. Hey, Chalita. There's some guests. Lindsay Jones. And I see there's a number I don't recognize, a couple I don't recognize, a 647 number and a 540 number, which is a Virginia somewhere. But most Lee's is on. She's fairly new. So welcome aboard, guys. If you guys wouldn't mind giving them a pat on the back or a hand raise, or or heck, just give them some money. Send them some money, and then they'll be happy. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions on? So far we talked about Realeflow, and for those of you who are new, you'll have strategy calls with me. We'll go over all that. Okay. The letter, everybody has access to that, whether you're on the team or not on the team. We went over that. Remember the language, using a cash offer. The key is to try it so we can measure the results. I've got a feeling it's going to work well. I don't know if Heather or Desiree are on tonight. Both of them reached out to I think it was one was a FSBO, one was an expired. They were looking at the Zudelio system. Both of them got listings, right? So we know that it works. I know Chris Patterson. I'm not sure if he's on tonight. He loaded up. This was about 4 weeks ago. Chris had loaded up 25 properties prior to class. During the class, 9 offers came in. Now, unfortunately, he didn't change the information on the properties, and they were all expireds. All the offers went to the old realtors. So I bet he won't do that one again. So you got to really pay attention if you're using this stuff. This is like, it's Tim, it's $65 a month if they work with you on this on Zudelio. Is that right? Versus the 130.
Yeah, they can get Zudelio as a standalone on the team for 65 or 600 a year, whichever one they want, and then we're going to have a $497 tier where we're gonna plug in FSBOs, expireds, predictive data, and pre-foreclosures right into it for $497, and then we're going to have 2 other tiers that we're going to plug in a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay. So depending on what level, so we're trying to make it so it's affordable in some form for everybody, right? So
Mhm.
really the system is really built for it. It's not really built to get a bunch of cash offers. It's really built to get your foot in the door and provide solutions to the sellers however you can, right? Whether it's a cash offer, a listing, or some other creative financing, or, really the whole idea is to solve their problem for them,
Mhm.
right? And whatever that may be, whatever it takes.
Yep.
So that's the focus you need to have instead of cash offer. Cash offer is just the hook, right?
Exactly.
It's what interests people, but normally it's not what they want because it's usually not market value. Now, I did see one. This was an interesting case that the wholesaler was asking 439,000, and the cash plus offer came in at like 652 with an initial payment of 466. But the wholesale brokerage wouldn't take the cash plus offer. So that's where we got to thinking about an interim investor, right? If an interim investor went and bought that for 439 and sold it to the cash plus buyer, they'd have an instant profit of 27,000. And if it got the full 652 on the other end on the market listing, they'd walk away with $140,000.
Mhm.
So I mean that's the kind of things that can happen. I've seen. That's the best one I've seen. I haven't seen anything that really comes close to that. But there are straight cash offers, and there are cash plus offers that if you can work them, they really have a lot of great potential.
They do. I was actually speaking with Heather earlier, and she right out of the gate, she just like a lot of things, we get busy, we get distracted. So she was working it and getting success, and then she stopped working it. And of course, everything, when you stop working it, you stop getting results. And she said today she needs to get back on it like yesterday. Because guys, I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of systems and processes come and go over the years, but this one, I mean, across the board, people are getting more immediate results than almost anything I've seen before. So all the marketing we teach you can certainly do, and we still want to have you do that to build the groundswell, get your databases up and on service. But if you're looking for more immediate transactions, I'm telling you this is working, right? But you have to work it. Tim will be the first to tell you. You've got to actually, like Melanie was asking how many hours we should put in per day in marketing. And I was suggesting 1 hour on sending out the letters and 1 hour on phone calls. That's 2 hours a day. That's minimum. That should probably be minimum. Well, here, if you put 2 hours into this every day, you're probably going to get a lot more action. I mean, I'm just telling you. Is it cost a little money? Yeah, $65 a month just to get in. And and Tim will fill us in when he's ready with the other parts if you want to have it more be turnkey. But I would definitely entertain this. We could probably, I don't know if Tim or Bonetta, we could do like I could have you share your screen, promote you, have you share your screen, and show people Zudilio just to show them what it's like a record that's already loaded. I mean, does that sound like an intelligent thing to do, or is it? I don't know if we can do a quick, like a 10-minute showcase or something like that to show people. What do you think, Bonetta or Tim?
That's fine. But Tim, do you want to do it? I don't really care. I can do it and you can do it. It doesn't make any difference to me. Tim, do you want to do it? You want me to do it?
I'll do it.
All right.
All right, let me get you promoted, Tim. Hang on one second.
I've got to get on my computer, Gary. I'm on my phone, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why I don't see you.
Yeah, I wasn't really ready for this, but I'll see what I can do to get on my computer with it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it? Since I'm on my computer already, and I can just put it up. I already have it open.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead, Bonetta, then?
All right.
All right, Bonetta, you are now co-host. You should be able to share your screen.
Okay. Let's see.
This should be an interesting demonstration. So nothing real elaborate. Just show them maybe.
No, nothing really elaborate. Okay.
Yep. Just a quickie how it works.
Let me see.
Yep.
Let me see. Can I share screen? Okay. Yes.
So while she's getting that up, I just had a question for those of us agents who aren't working so much the commercial side, just standard residential. And then we should be going into Realeflow, pulling out, those that may be distressed, those that may be or owner occupied, or excuse me, not owner occupied for residential properties, possibly. And then taking those addresses or that information from Realeflow, putting it into Zoodealio and beginning to work it in that format. Is that what you would suggest for those agents that maybe are just joining GIA, they haven't gone through your training or have decided not so much to go right into the commercial side? Just to kind of give a, kind of flow for us smaller
Well,
folks.
you can't really plug the list right into the Zoodealio platform because it's a third-party platform, right? That's why I'm making a system, because one, I don't like KV Core, and KV Core is not geared for what we're doing. So that's why I'm making another platform that we can just plug the list right in there and run our pipelines and our opportunities and our conversations and everything right through the platform.
Well, actually, Tim, you can load your list up in KV Core. Fabian connected me today.
Okay, well, good. So
I have some.
But we're integrating the Zoodealio platform right into ours so that you don't have to go to the Zoodealio platform in order to input or show properties.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it'll be fully integrated.
Right.
Hey, Shastine, really, Realeflow can be used for traditional clients too. It's, obviously we always talk about investors because of our teams big in investing, but you can definitely use that to get owner occupant listings and sales, buy sides.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing was with Delio. I mean, I would, particularly in the markets that are starting to shift, you can use this for traditional buys and sells just like you can use for investors. And it generally is small scale anyways, 4 units and below, which is essentially residential.
I've been calling FISBOs and expireds and putting them in.
Yep.
So you ready?
Oh yeah. Shastine, real quick, Shastine, does that help a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I know that for me, when we talk about investors, honestly, I just consider an investor a specific type of buyer that may be coming in,
Gotcha.
for the purpose of me trying to grab sellers that want to sell, whether they're distressed, whether they want to undersell or, sell below market price because they want a quick sell. That's just naturally going to go to an investor. But a lot of times for those that maybe aren't, and wanting to sell it for market value, at least we can have a legitimate form of reaching out and by saying, we could provide a cash offer for you.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, if you're sensing a slowdown too, I would definitely entertain this. I mean, just from what I'm seeing, I've not seen much like this over all the years, and in so many areas where it's working too. Different parts of the country.
Also, another thing you can do, and that we're building into our system, is we're pulling local cash buyers and local fix and flippers in local areas right into the platform too, so you can add those into a separate pipeline, so you can add those buyers to your list of potential buyers for other properties aside from the iBuyers that are on the Zoodealio platform. So yeah, I mean, that is very important because those aren't iBuyers. Those are local cash buyers. Those are local investors and local fix and flippers that are looking for property. And we have the inventory in a lot of areas in the country to service that market and those buyers, right? So that's very important.
Yep.
Okay, ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so here's your dashboard, your settings, submit a property, submit buyers, etc. So if I wanted to, when I get talked to, after I speak with a FISBO or expired, all I do is I come over here and I put in their address. And I can't put in my address because I already put it in for somebody else I was testing, but anyway, you'd put an address here, and then it would auto populate a lot of these fields. There's only a couple of ones that you'll have to, it'll auto populate the address and the zip code, the year built, the square footage, the floors, and most of the time the bedrooms. Every once in a while, it might not populate the bedrooms, but you could get that from the tax record or from the listing, or from, if you get it off of Zillow. You will have to populate whether it has parking, whether it's, 1, 2 car or none or carport. You will have to populate that. You will have to populate whether it's sewer or septic. And if it's not in a rural area, most of the times you just want to select sewer. And then you want to put in the owner's name and then your telephone number. Don't put in an email address, because you don't want this to go to the owner before you have a chance to discuss it with them. Because when they look at that low cash offer, they're done with you. So I would recommend that you put in your telephone number. Once the offer comes, you're going to get a text, and you're also going to get an email that says you have an offer for the person's name or that address. And then you submit it, register it. And then after that, there's another page. I can't go to it right now because I'm not putting in the address, but you will upload some pictures. I get the pictures off of Zillow a lot of times. I just put them on a file on my computer, upload them into this, because the investors want to see some of the pictures. And then after that, you want to click on clients, and then you'll get like this one I put in this evening. And Zudilio is working on this because there was some challenges with getting these offers back quickly, but I must say they did this one back quick. So after you get this, here's the person's name and stuff. Here's an approximate value. Then you want to click on, before I go there. So you get some different, so here I uploaded some pictures, so you can see where I uploaded it. Let me go back. Go back to that. Anyway, let's see. I don't know how I can get back to that where I was. Survey group. Oh shoot. What did I do? Anyway, there's some different tabs up here. I don't use any of these tabs except for photos, and I do use notes. Like when I was calling some wholesalers, if there was a fee to be paid or something out of the ordinary, I put that in the notes so that the investor can see what that is, so that then they're not caught off guard. Let's see if I can go back to that. Okay, let me see here. All right, anyway. I don't know why I'm saying that. Oh no, don't give me a hard time. Okay, let me just open it again real quick.
You go, girl.
It's already auto-populated, so it's gonna open up right back.
Spell.
It's gonna open. Okay, so here we go back again. So here, I was on this client. This is her address. And so when you first put in the offer, we were getting immediate offer, and then a cash offer plus. And then this is how you were looking at it. If they want to sell now and move later, that's the offer. So these are the fees that they will have to pay from this. And so this is the net offer, and then the explanation date, they gave it to me. And then our commissions are here for the buy side or the sell side or both, because if you sell it to them and then they do a cash offer plus, they're going to renovate the place, put it back on the market. We get to sell it, and then the commission is 6.5%. And we just, we give half to the buyer side, etc. Okay, so that's that. Now, when you get ready to talk to the person, oh no, don't. Okay, so when you get ready to talk to the person, you want to copy this link and send it to them in an email. For some reason, just sharing it won't work. So you have to copy this link and send it to them, and then they can open it. And then I always go over, okay, it's going to do that again. Let me just actually, I had it open for a long time, so it's giving me grief.
Yeah, when that happens, you usually have to log out and log back.
Yeah, exactly. I just have to log out. Okay, hopefully it'll act right.
Hey,
Let's see.
Vanetta, I got a real quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to that offer that you got where they're gonna fix the home and then let you list it. That's embedded already in the cash offer agreement that you just get that business out the back end?
Yes.
Nice. So is that your commission or is that the whole commission? Does a future buyer you still would list it at 6% or right? Or how does that?
Yeah.
Are you getting all 6.5%? And then the buyer agent gets 3%?
You got to still pay the buyer side. You still got to pay the.
Okay, so but they're allowing 6.5% to be split.
Yeah, because
okay, I just wanted to clarify that because it's cool enough to get the deal out at the end, but I'm looking at wow, we're not really getting 6.5% to do this, are we?
You wish. You in your wildest.
It's still a good deal. It's still a good deal, though.
In your wildest dreams.
Yeah,
man,
I dream big, so I'm always looking.
It's still giving me that blues. Okay, so let me see if I could just copy and paste this. Let me just copy this link. You can just see what it looks like.
Okay.
So on those commissions, they pay out 1% on the front end, and then on the back end they pay out the other
2%,
5.5%, and then just depends on who brings the buyer, right? If you bring the buyer, you get the whole commission. If somebody else does, they get it.
Okay, what's going on? Why are you acting?
You were just going to show us what the consumer sees?
Yeah, I was trying to, and it's the same thing that was going to show, but I'm trying, it's not. Let's see. Why is it not opening? Why is it not opening?
What a weird show where they're actually leaving. I don't want to be on a stupid show anymore.
This page is not viewable while logged into your account. Okay, so let me log out of my account. And then let's see if it's going to be viewable. Okay, let's see. It says it's not well, I'm logged into my account. Okay, you know what? Let me just send it to myself.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Let me just send it to my other. Let's see if I can open it. Did it already come back to me?
Huh.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Anyway, that aggravates me because there's a breakdown that I really wanted to show you all. There's 5 different boxes. And in the first box, I can just describe it to you. The first box is if you were going to list it, like if they decided they don't want to accept any of these offers, if you were going to list it, you put in a list price. And then the second one is the cash offer. And it's usually 70% of the sales price. Then the third one is cash plus, and that's usually the, this is so aggravating. But again, that's what happens.
Can you send the link to Gary and then Gary shows the screen?
Say it again.
Can you send the link to Gary and then Gary shares his screen and shows it?
Let's see. I don't know, because it didn't even come back to I sent it to my other email.
Yeah, I think that's what she sent it to an email.
I sent
I'm
it
looking at it.
Sent it to my other email and it still didn't open.
Yeah.
It's still
That's good.
didn't open right.
Browser.
Oh, that browser. Let's try another browser. Let's see another browser. Let's see a different browser. Something's going on. There it is. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this, if they decided not to take any of these offers, they want to list with you, then you would put in the list on the market. You would list it after you've done your CMA and all that. This again is like 70% of the sales price. That's all they're offering. And then if your client accepted that, so let's just look at the breakdown. So the cash offer here is they're offering 503. Then 2.5% of that is our commission. That service fee is our commission. And then 1% for closing costs. That's for the cash, just the cash offer, if they accepted that. Now let me go back. And the cash offer plus this is where they bought the property, they fixed it up. The total cash offer plus is 712. They're holding back $106,800. Part of that holdback is a risk assessment fee, because we'll get into that in a second. And then part of that they're using to fix up the place. So and then the service fee is, and it'll say right on there. If you click on here, the service fee this is convenience fee for selling the property. And then the resale is our commission. So 7.5%. So the first payout to the owner is this amount. The second payout is if the property sells for this amount. If the property doesn't sell for this amount, if it sells for less, then part of the risk assessment, that money is going to be deducted from here. And then the repairs are going to be deducted from here. So they'll get this. Say, for example, they didn't have to do repairs. Okay, so that's what they end up with. All right.
Okay.
So let's go to the next one. The next one is sell now, buy later. So this is an offer. If they were to sell it now, they could still live in it, but then they have to pay rent. They have to pay rent, and then, it'd be fixed up again. And then here's the service fee, estimated closing costs, monthly rent. So they estimate how much the seller would have to pay monthly in order to stay there. And then after they fix it up, they would get that amount later. So they get some up front and then some on the back end, and now processing for sold. So this is what they get up front, deduct 7% for the resale and agent commission, and then they'd get this.
Okay.
All right, there's one more. No, two more. So say you're working with a buyer and you keep losing out. I had my experience last year. I worked with a lady for 5 months. We kept losing out in this market to cash buyers because we weren't waiving the appraisal. So this would have been good that we could have been able to turn her loan into a cash offer. And so there's a percentage, I don't guess they're short here, but there's a percentage of monies that they have to pay in order to convert that loan into a cash offer. But so this gives you that option. And then the last one is fix it, then list it. So that's the same sort of as the cash offer. Tim, do you want to add anything in here?
The cash plus offer, they try to do as little as possible, right? So they
Yep.
really want to go in and clean it up and really don't want to do much else to try to get market value out of it. And the fix and list is more of a, if it needs major renovations, then that's a whole kind of different deal where they'll send a contractor in and figure out what they think is going to cost to get it up to market value and then list it.
So
But
they-
other than that, I think you
Go
did a
ahead.
great.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
I said, other than that, I think you explained it very well.
One other thing I want to share with you all. Oh, shoot. I'm already sharing. Okay. I'm already sharing. Okay. Let me open my browser back up. Okay. So one other thing in here is that the best thing is they have the training here. So,
My volume.
so even if you don't attend they have a whole schedule for playing. They coach like Mondays and Wednesdays, but they do have videos here. Let me close this. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, that's the playlist. So that tells you when they're going to coach. But then there's where's the coaching? I'm still hitting on the same thing. Okay, it must be the opposite one. Okay. The playlist. So you have all these videos that you can look at your convenience. And I would highly recommend, is that the first one, New Zealand feature? That you have a get started call, but I would still say go and look at some of these videos. You don't have to look at all of them, but it'll give you an idea of how to present to the seller and wholesalers. I was calling wholesalers, that wasn't working. So I wouldn't advise wholesaler because it's really, like Tim said, it's not meant for that. It's not meant for them. And they're not going to bite. They don't want to wait because this is somebody with patience. But one of the good things that I found when I was doing this, let me show one other thing, marketing. They've got social media marketing tips here. They do some ads for you, which is really good that you can post on social media. So this is really good. I haven't done that yet. I'm not going to, still, they got some scripts here that you can kind of learn how to present. So this is a good thing. I would say use those. This is the campaigns, and I already told you can. Here's the one. No, this is not the one, because the one campaign key that I gave you tonight, it's actually for 100 days. There's one for 60, but the one I gave you tonight was for 100 days. So, and you can load it with that token key in KV Core. The one thing that I was saying, I had called a FSBO and it was a distressed property, so it needs some work. So I was going to give him, do the presentation. And what I thought was going to be a great advantage for him, because he just wants to sell it as a FSBO. But the cash plus, if he sells it as a FSBO and then he gets that money, and then he had no intention of waiting till the property got repaired and then selling it. So that would be a bonus for him to sell it to us, get some of the money, have us repair it, and then get some more money. There was a video also down here in the training, one of these videos where they show what kind of renovations they do. And it's not top notch. It's the basics. One house they did show that they cleaned it out, they painted, because it was really cluttered, and they fixed it up, So in one of these, and I think it was like, I can't remember which one, but it's one of these, like from the bottom here. Maybe it's this one. How can I differentiate myself? I think it's this one. And they show you you know, what kind of renovation they're doing. They cleaned it up. It looked presentable, but it wasn't like, you know, like one of these. I have some contractors that I work with when they do it. Now it's a pretty penny, but they do it. So
Yeah.
they're doing the basics, and that's all I got.
Okay. Well, thanks, Vanetta, for doing that. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I've got to wake up at 3 a.m.
Wow.
and heading down to shareholders. So hopefully I know I'll see Shastine there and Targan. Let's see who else. Anybody else? Shastine's got a brand new agent coming. Gina may show up. I did speak to Gina via messaging earlier. She's recovering from her surgery and hoping to be back in the swing of things sooner. I kept it kind of quiet because I didn't really get any instruction on should I talk about it or not. But apparently other people know, so I'll just tell you she's had surgery and she's recovering. And if you guys want to send her some love, you know, text or workplace messaging, something like that, I think she'd appreciate it, you know. So, okay, guys.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome. So I'll see you next Monday. I do have calls tomorrow. They'll all be on the phone. Anybody has a call with you tomorrow, it'll be on the phone. No calls on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no scheduled calls because I'll be at the conference. However, if you are stuck on something, you're negotiating, something's not going well with the transaction, obviously call, text, or email, and I'll jump out of whatever session I'm in and get back to you. And I'll keep up every day with the emails too. Sound good? Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
I'm going to go count sheep. Shastine, safe travels. All right. See you guys.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.